Hello, 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 hello. Intimate people of God, how are you? How are you? How are you? Listen, first of all, thank you so much for joining me today. I am Dr. Deranche Zorn, your kingdom strategist, here to build strategies so that you may birth and expand in your dreams, your goals, and your destiny. I help individuals, businesses, and ministries with practical solutions so they may increase their market reach and their income potential. You guys, I'm here to tell you some keys on today on how you can overcome struggling in your business, in your ministry, um, so that we can make sure that you are providing what's necessary for your ideal client as well. So, in addition, while you're here, go ahead and let us know who you are, where you are logging in from, wherever you may be around the world. In addition, what is your ministry and your business as well? I would like to know that information as well. What's your business? What's your ministry? Um, so again, welcome. So let's have this conversation. So the question I pose, and I like posing questions because it gives us the opportunity to think or making specific statements, right? And there are so many coaches and authors and speakers, those who have a product and service providers that are struggling with attracting their ideal client. And I remember being in that place where I was frustrated, where I was, I wanted to stop showing up because it appears that what I was doing was not what I should have been doing. And so, and that was because of out of my pain, out of my frustration, out of my disappointment, and because my target audience wasn't showing up the way I was showing up or in the response of my show up, right, for them. So I was like, well, maybe this is not what it is that I need to be doing. However, that wasn't it, right? It was that my messaging wasn't hitting, right, those or resonating in the heart and the minds of those who I needed to reach, right? And so that's vitally important. Communication, content messaging, those type of things are very important when it comes to your business or your ministry. And so that's why it's important. I don't care whatever you do, you guys want to always tell me lay down knowing your target audience. There's so many people who've been in business for years and years and years. But however, just the foundational key elements that's necessary for business growth and development. Because listen, without the right people, right? Without the right people resonating with your message, it definitely hinders your profit, right? And I believe that all of us could definitely agree with that. And so, for those who maybe struggling with attracting that ideal client, whether it's through messaging or branding. So there's two components that crush our efforts when it comes to attracting clients or attracting our ideal client, right? Messaging is one, and branding will be the other. So content development and messaging. So these are two things that you definitely have to make sure that you're looking at. And in order to look at them effectively and really refine or define the type of content and the branding that you need to be putting forth, is that you really have to get into the mindset of your ideal client. That's why yesterday, or day before yesterday, when I was giving my live, I was like, listen, some of us may want to go in and really hone in or narrow down what our target audience look like or our ideal client. I want to bring in this ideal client. Like, get this one person in your mind is that You know, every time you show up in writing your content and content development with copywriting and things of that nature, every time you show up with your brand, that you are speaking directly to that person. But let me tell you this, yes, other people are going to be attracted to your message because they're going to have those similar pain points, right? That your audience have. So we have to make sure that we are speaking to, number one, the right audience, right? So does your message reflect, or do it target your ideal client or the people that you're communicating with? So you say, well, how do I know if my message is targeting who I believe that my ideal client is? That is an amazing question to ask. So how do you know if it resonating with them? Well, see, your message, if you're talking to your ideal client, your message will always, right? It will always speak their language. Your message will speak their language. What's their language? Right. Their language is, hey, prophetess, how are you, prophetess Cheryl? Their language is their pain, right? And their desires. Their message is their pain and their desire. So is your message speaking to their pain? And as it speaks to their pain, is it showing them a way? Is it communicating to them a way out, right? It is communicating the message that through their pain point, that you hear their pain, you see their pain, and that you have a solution to help them overcome their pain and live the life that they desire. Communication have to be key. I mean, it's key, and it must be on point. They have to know. In addition, as you are communicating with your ideal client, what type of call to actions are you providing them? What type of call of action are you providing them? See, you got to get into your client's mind. Thank you so much, prophetess Cheryl Burks. She is the CEO of Kingdom Building Shopping Center Bookstore. Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys can connect with her on Facebook.com, KBSCBS. Amen. Thank you for joining us. But listen, you guys. So communication is the key. So how you communicate, you got to get into their mind. When you're developing content, or you're thinking about developing content, you have to begin to sit right in the mind of your ideal client. What are they thinking about right now? What are they going through right now? What are they wishing and hoping and desiring for their life? You know, what is that change that they want to manifest? Because they're really ready to move in their dreams and their goals, but there's obstacles in their way that they don't know how to solve, right? And how are you showing up with that solution? How are you showing up? Letting them know that you have the answers for them overcoming their fears, their hurt, their pain, their disappointment, whatever obstacle that is in their way, so that you can lead them to the promised land. They're waiting on Moses to show up, and Moses, you, right, to bring them out of Egypt, to bring them out of the bondage, right? So they can get over to Canaan, the very thing that God has promised for their life. And communication is definitely the key. Content, messaging, or content development. That content development is the process that you'll go to bring forth your message, right? Your and so where you put it, whether you're putting your message in a post, or you're displaying a message through imagery, right, as well, or through video, how is that content being displayed so that it touched their pain point, but it also showed them the promised land, right? It shows them the promised land, and it points them directly to you, your services, and your products. Now, let me say this. Before we start just putting stuff out here, right? Before we start just putting stuff out here that where our pages become a sales page. No, we don't want to do that, right? We want to make sure that we are giving, right? You want to make sure that you're giving more than you're asking, right? As well, giving them valuable information, giving them information that educate, that informs, right? Giving them content that engage them where they at. Hey there, how you guys? We have. I'm gonna pause right here. We got Erica P. Quinn, the CEO of Queen to Queen. My God, you guys, she's gonna be a part of the I Am Her International conference, the virtual experience, and I'm telling you, she's gonna be taking us through some transformational processes, right? Transformational processes so that your business, your ministry, your personal life will never be the same. I'm going to take you through that growth spurt, right? So that you can elevate to the places and spaces that God has called for in your life. You guys, one of my Courtney, we got Courtney Lee Smith from the Relationship Service Station Grief and Loss Coach. Look, she's nobody new or unfamiliar with the I Am Her International space. You guys get to see her every Saturday morning on the first Saturday, every first Saturday morning. Y'all see her every first Saturday morning right here in the I Am Her International group, where she is, she is doing great things and Shifting Saturdays. And so if you haven't caught her, there's a lot of replays here in the group for you guys to watch this powerful woman and what she brings to the table as well. So you guys go ahead and connect with her. Listen, I'm telling you, she is so, I watch so many of her shows and comment and be a part of it as well. So you guys connect with her and what it is that she do. Also, Denise, Pastor Denise, she is the CEO of Armor of Hope Writing and Publishing Services, LLC, and she is the founder of Hope in Christ Ministries. So, you know what, right here, I want to just take a teachable moment real quickly, because I see a lot of this. I'm going to take 2 teachable moments right here, because I see a lot of it across social media and a lot of things that I get to look at and things of that nature as well. So just 2 business tips real quickly, so that when you come across people who know business and understand business, that they will know that you have a business mindset, or they'll know or at least figured that you've been schooled, right? So a few things with that. If you notice, with Pastor Denise, I said CEO with 1. So when you have when you're a business owner, right? That is not, you never attach founder to a business name, right? Founder, when you want to use the word founder, you are the founder of some type of nonprofit organization or ministry, right? That's what the founders are. When you're dealing with business, you're that CEO, the owner, the president, those type of things when it comes to business. Okay, so just a quick business tip. And then one last thing is, if you have multiple titles, right? Listen, because I literally just seen something like 2 days ago, and it was with this organization, and both of these leaders had 2 titles on their name. And what I do understand is, one taught the other one the wrong way, right? One taught the other one the wrong way. So when people look at us as influencers, and when we're doing things wrong, they copy what we do, and then they take that wrong information, and then they begin to infiltrate it wherever they are. So when I seen it, I was like, oh Jesus. So they did 2 names, right? They was like on their marketing material, they had Dr. Apostle, right, on their name. And I'm like, you gotta take one of the other, right? Determine which one you gonna take. You need to take one or the other one. You don't have to have both. Now I hold both of those titles, but just depending on what platform I'm on determines which one I use. I don't use both of them at the same time, okay? So you don't have to use both of them at the same time. It's okay, right? And I know sometimes for us, right, we be so excited that, you know, we don't got elevated. And so, but just use one or the other. Don't use both at the same time. Not in the same sentence, right? Now, somebody reading something or something being read, you want to reference one at the beginning and then reference another one later. That's good, but don't do that. Okay, amen. Tell your friends. Tell your friends who need to know that information as well, so that they, you know, we can look. We can. So when people see us, they won't be like, "Oh my God, they are so ignorant." So those type of things, because they do have these type of conversations, right? So, but anyway, nevertheless, let's get back over here to this content, right? To this content development. So, or your messaging development. So, you want to make sure. I told you that the language that your audience talk is pain and desire. So, your messaging have to correlate to their language. So you got to be dealing with their pain points. That's why you got to get in their mind. You got to know what they're talking about. You got to know their psychographics and all of those type of things, right? The social graphics, you need to know all these things about them, so that as you are touching their pain points, you're showing them how they can get out, right? How they're the way out, and that you are that subject matter expert to help them. So you got to think about, you know, what they need, and how you can help them get there. You a teacher. I'm gonna get you. I think you normally do it right, Denise. So you guys, for the business standpoint, you got CEO, president, the owner, things of that nature for business. I think I normally, because if I've seen it wrong, if I've ever seen it wrong on your stuff, I'm sure I probably would have said something to you. And you the teacher, you went following my directions. You were so funny. But anyway, but nevertheless, that is so funny. But nevertheless, I just want to make sure that when we show up, because I've seen a lot of it. But anyway, you want to think about whatever their pain point is. You want to have that strategy, or those strategies, or those solutions, right? Which is that's how you build your whole service. I'm giving you a little bit more information. You build your whole services. What you provide is totally based upon or surrounded by their pain points, and what you can authentically do, what you're skilled, what you're gifted at in doing to help them through their pain points, right? Services is, listen, and I know it's sad to say, but all services is built around solutions, right, that solve somebody else's problem, that help them overcome their pain point. And so if you don't understand their pain, then you cannot provide them the appropriate solution for them. And therefore, when you are having the conversation, whether it's a face-to-face conversation, or whether it's conversation through a post, or conversation through an image, no matter where that conversation is coming forth from, you will not be able to articulate a message that resonates with them. You won't be able to do that. So those are things you got to connect with their pain, and you got to connect with their desire, so that you can communicate, so that there will no longer be a language barrier between yourself and those who you serve. So when you begin to, write out that speech, that message that you're getting ready to do, or you're getting ready to write out that post, as you're developing, or getting ready to do that blog, or you're getting ready to do that book, whatever you're getting ready to do, that's getting ready to communicate with your ideal client, put them first. Put them first, so that they would know that they were on your mind. They would know that you care, right? They would know that you are not just somebody else that don't popped up to provide another service, for just personal gain. But no, you're in it, not just for the personal gain aspect, but you're in it because you really want something life changing to happen in their life. I've been around. I've been in the midst, and I've been around, and I've seen a lot in this space, unfortunately, and seen a lot in this space, and I've came across a lot of people who have been disappointed. A lot of people who, they thought that they was going to get the assistance that they needed, and they've spent a lot of money and ended up nowhere. And so, especially if you're in the coaching space, in this online coaching space, and things of that nature, listen, in these times, because people have been burnt, you have to show up authentically, and you have to show up with the heart, and making sure that your promise, your brand promise, right, that you're delivering whatever that brand promise is, that you are making sure that at the end of the day, you've done what you've told them that you would do. Because listen, I'm telling you, when you begin to get people to talk about what you do and how you've assisted them. I told you guys, my first business, I ain't market it. I don't market it, and I'm getting ready to decrease how much I do in it, because I need to be more in the teaching space. So that people can get what it is that they need. And that particular business, it consumes a lot of my time, right? So I'm getting ready to change my business model, but I don't have to. That business have always been word of mouth, and that when that business bring home, right, the bread and the butter. Okay. It brings home the bread and the butter, but I got to be obedient and get in the place and the space in this teaching environment more. And I know that I can't with the amount of workload that I do in that particular business. But nevertheless, right? So I want us to be different in this space. I want people to be able to know that when they encounter you, that they're getting exactly what it is. So not only are you connecting with them with your messaging, and I'm going to talk about branding in a moment, with your messaging and with your brand, but you're also bringing forth that brand promise. You are delivering, and they can get that delivery every time. So now you can get that word of mouth. Okay, so when we deal with brand promise, when we deal with brand, I know you've heard me throw around brand promise a lot. There's about 7 different components when it comes to 7 different components when it comes to the makeup, right, of your brand. Your brand is not just your logo, it's not just your flyer, it's not just your website, it's not just your business card, right? It's that whole makeup of your business. It has its own personality, it has its own traits. Matter of fact, when you deal with the business cards, the website, and all of that, you're dealing with your brand associates, right? Those are components that is associated with your brand, but shows up for you no matter where it is, whether it's in the online space, in the physical space, but it is a good representation of you, so that people can get that brand identity, so they can recognize you. Just like when somebody sees the golden arches, or you see the check, you automatically know who it is, or you see the apple with the bite, you automatically know who it is, right? So it just brings forth that brand recognition. So even with that, like, how attractive is your brand when it comes to marketing your content, right? Putting out content before your target audience. What does your brand look like? Do your brand speak to them? Is your brand attracted to them in colors and you know what I'm saying, in nature? Is it soft? Is it, just depending on who you're working with? Is it a hard, brand? What type is it, and does it resonate for those who you are serving? Do it have that curb appeal that your target audience will look at and be like, okay, that it will draw them to it? But because technically, before they ever read whatever you have, before they ever read your content, if they're reading it, right, they look at they look at the design of what's there. So some people could never get your message or resonate with your message because of what you're putting out, right? When you're designing your flyers and putting out pictures and things of that nature, right? So those things are vitally important, right? Even though, we say don't judge a book by its cover, we do, and we do it a lot. Right? We do it a lot, and don't get me wrong, because you can have, and don't get me wrong, and I know we got gems. There are gems, right, that have not mastered the art of brand development, but they're being hidden because, right, because of how they're showing up, how their brand is showing up in the marketplace. And so for those gems, well, they have to come to a mindset to say, okay, or understanding is, even though that's not my, let me just hire somebody to do this because it's causing me more. Not having it done rightly or correct than it is, right? It's causing me more not to have it done the right way. So all of that makes a difference. So how are you gaining with that brand attraction? It makes a difference between somebody liking your post, reading your post, and things of that nature. I remember about a year and a half ago, and if anybody on this live, right? Anybody on this live, yeah, kind of already know me, right? So, but anyway, so about a year and a half ago, about 2 years ago, was working with somebody who was going to be a part of their event, and so they put this flyer together, and I really try to really protect my brand, even when I am connecting with somebody else. So they put something out, and I was like, oh, okay, because that's my area expertise, right? That's one portion of my first business. So I'm like, oh, wait a second. Can I redo the flyer? Right? So they had this flyer out for a couple of months, and it was not getting any attraction and things of that nature. But guess what? Once we redid the flyer, not only did they begin to get attraction, but they began to get sales. They got sales. Why? Because the packaging of the brand was not appealing to those who of their ideal target audience. This is the other thing. So, like, for instance, this is one thing. So, and hopefully I know about it. Listen, if you want to ask somebody to pay, right, to pay for something, $200 for something or whatever, anything, but it looked like the kindergartner did it, they're not going to take your brand serious. They're not going to really invest. They're not going to make an investment into what it is that you're doing. Maybe those who know you will, because they know what you bring to the table. But for those who don't know you, those who don't know you, when you're trying to increase your influence, your income, right, and your impact, that makes a difference. That makes a major difference. So you have to make sure that you know who you're speaking with. That's another reason why you got to know their you have to know their psychographics, right? You got to know what they like and what they don't like, what will appeal to them, and what will not appeal to them. And so many times we are hurting our own marketing efforts through our branding, through the content development, our content development as well, right? Because we're not speaking the right thing. Also, something else that happens a lot as well when it comes to content development and our brand associates. I've been talking about brand associates, things that are associated with your brand, such as your flyers, right? Something else that also hinders as well is that, we have these nice things, put together, or maybe not so nice, but also when the communication that's there. And it's like, and somebody may read them like, okay, they asking me to do what? And it sounds like that's what they need to be doing. What it looks like that's what they need to be doing. So it's so many different components, women of God and men of God, because kind of posted quite a few places. But listen, there are so many different components when it comes to showing up for business that we really, really got to grasp a hold to, and that we really, really need. And so therefore, look, we have to we have we have to get into and get into those spaces where we're getting information. Listen, because I know, people have said, well, just go start the business. And okay, and we just went and started the business, or we went and started doing things, but there was components that we just don't have information about, and that's okay. That is absolutely okay, right? Now, those who are in my circle, they know I would tap you on the shoulder. Those in my circle would tap me on my shoulder, be like, wait a second, hey there, how are you? I don't know who you are, just a Facebook user. I'll pull my phone up in a second. Also, this is something else that you may have to understand when it comes to your clients. Does your information, are you providing the best mean of communication for your clients as well? So, like, for instance, was working with somebody who want to get in the broadcasting space, right? And so as we was having communication about her getting into this broadcasting space, my first communication is, okay, who is your target audience and where are they? Like, what are their demographics? I just need to know that. Oh, hey, Tanya, how are you? I needed to know that information. Also, for those who are on here, if you have not put your business name, where you're coming in from, you can go ahead and put it in the comment section for us. So, but nevertheless, what was I talking about? I forgot that quick. Oh, the means. Okay, I was talking about the mean of communication. So, she wanted to get in the broadcast space, and so I was like, okay, well, what's best for your audience? Because many of times, if we be honest, we kind of build stuff like around our schedule, even though it's for somebody else. We build it around what's comfortable for us or what best suits us. And so also because of that, we missed our audience because they ain't available, right? But anyway, so we was having the conversation, and so we was talking about, okay, let's look and see what will be the best mean for you. Hey, Tashana, how are you? Thanks for joining. Tashana business is Hannah Renee LLC. That is the name of her business. Y'all tell us what y'all do. She's a coach, a transformational coach. I hope that's the right coach. We have Tanya have Sean Beauty Supply. It's her business. You guys can reach out to her and for all your beauty needs at www.seanbeautysupply.com. Yeah, I forget. Okay, so you can So are you providing the right mean? So as we was dealing with the right mean is this. So if your target audience, and yeah, I'm so serious. That's why you got to know your target audience. So if your target audience don't read, why are you writing a book for them? Now, and let me say this. So in some instances, it may not even be that they don't read. if you that's fine, Tashana. If they don't read, or it may not even be that they don't read, it may be that they don't have the time to read, right? So if they don't have the time to read, and even if you want to write it, you need to at least be providing a audio version for them. Because if they don't have the time, but there is space within their schedule, let's say for instance, if they're busy on the go, if the person that you're serving, your ideal client, you know, if they have traveling time, like an hour or so or whatever, however long that content that you're creating is, if they have traveling time that they probably can do what I call drive time university, right, or things of that nature, then you put it in an Audible content so that they can have access to it. So they can do it during that time, or you know, or it's something they can listen to while they're cooking and things of that nature. If they're just those very busy parents that do not have, if it have that personal time and space that they need, right? They may not have the hours that we think that they have, and so that's a big transition. That's a big that's a big difference when it comes to time management, or when it comes to respecting the time that they have. You'll have a higher probability of them completing your content, listening to your content, picking up your content, and all that other great stuff. So you got to make sure that you are putting your content in the medium, right, that support your ideal client. So, you know, as I was speaking, and I was like, well, you know, well, what are their day like? So these are like conversations you need to have with yourself, not only with yourself, but also those that you already serve, or those that may be in your circle of influence, who is your ideal client. Begin to pose them and things of that nature as well, you know, because you need to know, look, what type of time do they really have? And even with what type of time, when is that time? I was when I was teaching in my Broadcast Your Brilliance session, one thing I was telling them, I was like, listen, if your ideal client is going to listen to you at the end of the day for a wind down, your podcast or your show, whether your TV show, whatever it is that you're doing, it don't need to be a upbeat type of show. It doesn't, you know, your opener and all that stuff, it needs to be for the mindset and the mood that your ideal client is going to be in when they are listening to you. So that's like my end of the day recap and getting me prepared for bed and things of that nature. The tone of the message, the tone of the show, or the content that's, you know what I'm saying, that's coming and things of that nature. I'm like, your intro can't be, you know, it's time to party, or we just woke up, it's time to wake up in the morning, it's morning, you know, type of tone. It needs to be preparing me to continue to be in that relaxed state, but at the same time obtaining information, valuable information that I need for my transition, right? For my transition, for where I am. So do you guys have any questions? Any questions that you may have? Prophetess Burke, I don't know if you're putting something in there or not. It's coming up. I mean, I see your face coming up on here, but for some reason, I don't see words. So I don't know if you hit it by mistake or not. So anyway, what you guys got going on? What are you doing? What are you doing in this season? How are you preparing for the next? How are you closing down 2020 and gearing up for the 2021? Look, if you guys have not registered for the I Am Her International Conference, while I'm waiting on questions to come over here, If you have not registered, thank you, Erica. If you have not registered for the I Am Her International Conference, I'm telling you, you want to get your registration in. It is going to be on fire. I'm telling you, those that attend, I mean, look, those that attend the conference, the type of content that they're going to get, not only the type of content, what they're going to walk away with. That is an absolutely powerful question. I'm going to help you out in 1 second, Prophetess Burks. But they're going to walk away with not only valuable content, but they're going to walk away with things already done, right? Or at least the shell of it being completed. Because we're going to have some implementation workshops that's going to bless your life, going to bless your business, it's going to bless your ministry, it's going to take you to a place. I'm telling you, it's going to really, really propel you in the work that you have been called to do. It's going to help you fill in some of those gaps, right? In some of those gaps, and as it's going to help you do that. In addition, we're going to have some spaces and places that you can go so that you can be in an environment that's coaching you through, training you through, equipping you through this whole life cycle in ministry and in business, right? And that you are supported by powerful women of God, right? To help you get to your next, who's invested in your success. I'm telling you, it's going to be absolutely amazing. In this particular one, we are heavily focused on content development because I do realize that is a space where a lot of people are falling short. Content development is a place where a lot of people are struggling, and it's hindering what it is that they are called to do, and it's keeping them from serving those who they need to serve. Now, for those who know me and those who've ever experienced my training, you guys know, listen, I'm going to take you from the bottom to the top, right? In addition, listen, if there are holes or there are additional holes, you're going to know, because we're going to, I'm going to make sure that we are clear in that space. I am not one of those that will bring you into a space or environment and have you to build on something that's hollow. No, we're going to build on solid foundation, right? So that you can be activated in what has been provided for you. So I'm telling you, you want to get in on the I Am Her International Virtual Experience Conference. So for those who are on the watch count list, I'm gonna give y'all I'm gonna give y'all something right here. There is tomorrow, the strategy session tickets go on sale. There is a sale happening tomorrow, and for those who are on my email list, right? Earlier this week, you got an email that's gonna bless you. So, and that may end today. That may end today or tomorrow. I'm not sure. But if you ain't checked your email and got the goods that's in there, you may want to go on over there and get it. Otherwise, listen, there is a special. I'm going to give y'all this an inside scoop because other people won't know until tomorrow that the sale is happening. There is another sale that's happening on tomorrow. A 24-hour flash sale is going down on tomorrow. But again, if you're already on the email list, and you had to be on the email list prior to, I think I sent it out Sunday. You got an email with some prizes, right? Well, some discounts and some codes and all of that great stuff. So now let's talk about how do we do research for our audience. That's very good. And it also is a more extensive training, but let's start here. So to do research, you can use first of all, before you can start researching an audience, you have to understand what your purpose is. First of all, understand what your purpose is. Once you understand what your purpose is, you can reverse engineer your purpose to the problem that it solves. Once you understand the problem that your purpose solves, then it's going to direct you to the people that you serve, right? Those who you are called to serve. And so once you identify, okay, let's say the problem that, and you can give me what your purpose is and I'll reverse engineer it for you as well. But the problem that I solve, so for ministry, the problem that I solve, or my purpose, to restore order, to restore the order of God, one life, one body, one nation at a time, right? So the problem that that particular things that I identify with, that to know that what I'm called to do, or the problem that is solved, I'm solving the problem for people who are living lives of brokenness, right? Living lives of chaos, confusion. Their life is a wreck. Why? Because order needs to be restored, right? So the restoration needs to take place and order needs to happen in their life. They need structure and, all these great things. So it's like, okay, so just like Jesus said, look, I ain't come for the sick. I mean, I didn't come for the well. I came for those who are sick. Only the sick need the physician. So it's like, okay, so anybody, when it comes to ministry, I understand that those that are going to be attracted to me, the message that's going to resonate for them from me, when it comes to that, is that it's going to be those who are broken, those who have been hurt, right? From various situations, those who need healing, those who need to be restored. And so for those that are already packaged, primed, healed, whatever, they're not going to resonate with me for ministry. Because the type of services that I provide, they're not going to need. And I understand that, even in business. When it comes to business, for those who I serve in business, I serve those, listen, who have businesses, who are either starting in business or in business and they're struggling in business because the models that they have don't work. That's why I provide practical solutions to increase their market reach, their income potential, and their influence. So I know you're struggling in those three areas. And usually you're struggling in those three areas because of the strategies, because of, the procedures, the processes, and not understanding, like what we're talking about right now, not understanding who you serve, how you serve them, and what type of practices need to be in place so you can properly serve them, so that you can be visible to them and they'll know who you are. So they can be attracted to you. So you can't be that city on the hill that cannot be hidden. I understand that, but even with that, that's still, again, my whole core is my core, and that's dealing with broken things, solving solutions for them. Whether it's in ministry or business, my core is solving problems, bringing order, bringing structure. So that brings me to that portion, right? So this, well, how do I know? So once you do, that's going to give you a pool of people. So now you have already weeded out. That allows you to weed out all the background noise. So you ain't got to worry about, okay, if you are here to help women in domestic violence, right? Your focus can't be on, or you can't be trying to focus on those who have cancer. Because you're dealing with domestic violence. That can't be your focus. And in what place in space and that's the other thing. What space and place are you helping them in it? Because you ain't got the whole gamut of domestic violence. What is that space that if that's your space, what space is that? So like even for me for business, I don't help all businesses and everything they do, right? Just even in my consulting, listen, I'm connected with other businesses that do what I don't to help them get there. I just help them strategize a solution and say, okay, well, you're gonna need this. So a marketing expert is gonna be good for this. You're gonna need, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna need this. Okay, you need a financial expert to do this. You know, you need that. You know, I can guide you on some things, but then there's other components that you're gonna need specialists in. I'm gonna give you this, and this is one of the things that really helped me when I was pregnant with my last child. I had a team of 5 doctors, and which was amazing. 5 doctors, and so each doctor specialized in something different. Now I had to have a team of 5. Well, I had a team of 5. I don't know why 5 was the selected choice for them, but I'm gonna believe it was because of grace, right? Because I had issues with previous pregnancies with either one, the children living, or 2, carrying the child all the way to the end of the pregnancy cycle. So I was having those issues, and so based upon the issues that I was having, they brought specialists in that each one of them dealt with a specific issue. And so as a team, their focus was to make sure that I carry this baby full term, right? And this baby is delivered alive. That was their job. That's where their focus as a team. And one doctor couldn't do it because that, you know, one doctor wasn't a specialist didn't know the whole gamut of everything. So they had to come to the table so that teamwork can make the dream work. And that was the only baby, right? We had some things happen in between, right? But at the end of the day, that was the only baby I've ever carried full term. And he lived, right? That's my baby, right? He's 20, right? So all I'm saying is you got to understand that's a whole nother conversation I got to have, because sometimes, you know, people are getting coaches and it ain't the right coach for them at the time. And so they're coaching them through process, and they're coaching them through things, and they're not even ready for. I'm on just in good faith. I'm saying what I'm saying in good faith that the coach was doing what they were supposed to do, right? Or what they are called to serve. I'm gonna say it that way, that they're called to serve and do. So in good faith, because sometimes we get coaches and we're not ready for them, right? Man, yes, team development, yes, team development is unnecessary. You definitely need a team. We all need a team. So that what it is that we're called to do, that it can work in its fullness, and then you're not overworked, you're not taxed, so that you can be great in what it is that you do. Because if you're just a creator, if you're just a creative, right, and you're good at creating things, like your mind, like your mind is as good at developing stuff. If that's what you're good at, and you may be good at that, but you may not be good in the implementation part of the idea, then you need to hire somebody, somebody who is detail oriented, somebody who can take a thought and make it come to life. Like you need that. And then, and that person may be able to put it, write it out, put the processes and all that stuff in place. But you're gonna need other people to implement those things. Like who's marketing it, right? Who's doing that, and who's handling the finance component. So and let me say this as well, because don't get overwhelmed with all of that, because we all start with just by ourselves. We begin with just us. But then even though we start with just us by ourselves, we won't stay there. Know that you are developing, know that in your mindset, or you should have the mindset that a team is coming. I'm hiring a team. You should know that. You should know that I'm hiring a team. I'm getting that, and you need to even begin to departmentalize and things like that for the team. And this is the other thing. So since we're on team, I know that's one part, a portion of what we're talking about, but I can bring it all back in. So listen to this. The other part of that is, let's talk about this for a moment. So even when we're dealing with a team, from a team aspect, and this is what I believe, and this is what I am, what I really believe in my heart, because looking at the scriptures, I think, right, that it leads us to doing things as a team. And when you're doing things as a team, you have to make sure when you begin to develop, or you begin to integrate team members in your team and on your team, how team players work is that whatever you guys are doing, or wherever you're placing them on the team, it needs to be in a space that cultivate what they do, right? So it needs to be building your dream and their dream together. So how do you start looking for a team? The very first thing is that you need to understand what it is that you need. So what are the things that you need in your organization? And then what is the thing that you need right now? What is the team member that you need right now, that out of those that you need? So you look at, okay, I need, let's say, I ain't good at marketing. So we know you need marketing. You need graphics, and which your marketing person probably can do graphics and stuff. You may need a sales, somebody do sales, and just a different things that you may need. So you may need marketing, you may need sales, you may customer service, just the various components. So you have to say, and hold on, you also may need somebody on the team that guide and lead you. That guide you and give you guidance. You also may need somebody on the team who is good in content development. And when I say content development, is I'm talking about a standpoint taking that idea and taking and putting it in a process or a system. You may need somebody in the technology area, right, as well. So you have to figure out, based on your model, what team players do I need on this team? Do I need somebody on branding? Do I need somebody on marketing specifically, or can those two positions be merged together, and those type of things? Like a finance team and things, like somebody on the finance and all these type of things. However, you have to get this whole team all at one time. There are things that you can do until you get a team, that can have a team aspect for you, like using Fiverr and Upworks and things of that nature, who have where you can outsource those components until you build the brand or you build the business where it's generating the level of income that you need, where you can hire somebody that works, a VA, somebody that works specifically for you. And you don't have to get on, and this is the other thing, somebody that works, who's working specifically on you, that you don't have to get on their schedule for them to make it happen. That's their sole thing. That makes a difference. And then when it's somebody that works for you, and you're understanding their personality, and they're understanding your personality and things of that nature, they're going to know how to get it right. Like I was talking with somebody, or and they're hiring me for something, and so they did do some price comparison, right? And when after they did their price comparison, my prices were higher. And so they said they was having a conversation with somebody, with their friend, and so they was talking about it. And so they was like, "Well, what's the difference?" And you can get it less than half the price of what this person is charging you over here. And what she said was, and this is that brand differentiation that we bring forth. They said, but what my answer to them was this: is that this person have never they have always delivered the way I needed for them to deliver for me. So I know if I go with them, I'm not going to be disappointed with my outcome. And I would have not paid for something that I'm not satisfied with. So she was like, I prefer to do this. I prefer to do it this way, because I know that when we walk away from the table, I'm going to be satisfied with what they deliver. And so she's able to say that. Why? Because my delivery, I've delivered over and over and over again, being consistent with that thing. So you have to work the process. So I was talking about the team, right? So also when it comes with the team, this is something else that you have to think about. Right, quality over cost, right? Good quality. And because I told him, like, well, hey, I mean, you can go there, but then you may have to wind up spending just as much, because if you got to buy it again somewhere else, or even eventually come to me, look at what you've wasted money, right? Because you tried to do it a cheaper way and it didn't work. It didn't work for you. So, but anyway, so the other thing when it comes to teamwork, listen, y'all, listen. Oh, Jesus. Is this. Because, we're all building, and we're all in this space, right? That we're building. And it said, okay, well, and we're in our circle of friends. We have our circle of influence, and we're all trying to do something. Okay, so let's come to the table and say, okay, what are you good at? What are you excellent in? And you look at the skill sets, and you're like, okay, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at this, you're good at that. Now, how do we all come together with our gifts, and we work together to make the businesses work? So I take over what you're not good at. You take over what I'm not good at, right? And so we cross, right? We cross develop. We cross develop. And we make it happen. And you have to look and see, and you have to understand that this right here, that this thing right here with cross development, that it causes everybody to grow and mature together. And then you come up with, strategic, even with a strategic plan, that even when one moving, when one is moving, you're all moving together. Even in, even in absence, we're all moving together. It don't mean that we have to show up to, they have to show up to everything, right? But they support it. They support it in other ways, in other means, whether they're doing work on it specifically or they're sharing, they're getting it out in various communities, but whatever the responsibilities become. That's how this thing works. That's how they're doing it. And I understand especially being in the women's space is, we have to get over some of those things that we've acquired to where we can come into a space where we trust and come into a space where we work together, because together we're better. Together we're stronger. Together we win. And that's what and that's our focus, even here with I Am Her International. And we gotta leverage what's available. Leverage what's available, right? Leverage what's available and leverage the heart intent of what's here. Because it's so that no woman will be left behind. But she got to be willing to get on board the train. Get on the train. You got to be willing to get on the train. Amen. Word of God. Thank you, Jesus. And so even if you notice, like anything, and I'm developing something, it is so that we all can win. So that we all can win. Even when I'm putting out stuff, so that we all can win, right? Have different setup and models, so we all can win. It is a strategic reason. Everything that I have set up in this group, it is the strategicness behind it. Number one, for your growth and development, for your maturity, for an environment that support your gift, support your talent. So that others know that there is a brand that stands behind you. And also having that space to cultivate, because many times when we don't have places or spaces to cultivate what we have, we get hidden. We don't have places and spaces that cultivate what we have, and what coaches can assist and guide us, right? We're moving haphazardly. And so we want to win, and I want every woman to win. I want us to win together. Amen. Were there any other questions? I think that was Tashana. Tashana, did I answer your question about developing a team? So start by looking at what you need, what your needs are. There are core components that you need anyway, but what's your need, and what's the immediate need that you have that will free you up so that you can do more of what it is that you love to do, or what it is that you are better suited for. So for instance, like me, I'm great at and this is what the apostles do, right? I'm great at building. I'm great at getting the foundation, getting systems, getting all these things. I'm excellent at getting that done. But the day-to-day, no, because I'm on building the next thing. Like here you go. I'm on what's the next bill? That's my mindset. Like, what's the next bill, or what's the next build out, right? And that just have always been me. So, are there any other questions? Any other questions? Any other questions that you have? If y'all don't have your ticket at I Am Her International, the virtual experience, I'm telling you, you want to get your ticket now. You don't want to be late. You don't want to miss out on what's happening at this conference. I'm telling you, because there's going to be some amazing teaching, and they're showing up, right? The teachers are showing up, and they ain't playing with what they're showing up with. And I was very strategic because I want to make sure I know the place that's most important, that's most critical for those that we serve right now. Those that I serve right now, I know their most critical place, and that is the place that that I'm focusing in. That I'm focusing in for you guys. Okay. So since I don't see any other questions right now, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to close out. Listen, you guys, I am Dr. Durante Zorn, your kingdom strategist, here to build strategies so that you may birth and expand your dreams, your goals, and your destiny. I help individuals, businesses, and ministries with practical solutions so they may increase their market reach and their income potential. You can definitely reach out to me at Durante.com. Listen, if you're struggling with content development, reach out to me. If you're struggling with business growth and development, you definitely want to reach out to me so I can see how I can be an assistance unto you. You guys have an amazing day, and I will speak with you